Research shows that over 55% of the world's population lives within urban spaces, and this number looks to only increase. As this number increases, urban planners have to look for new ways to accommodate this situation. And two of the most common methods are through the use of like the compact city model or expanding horizontally. And so whenever a city expands horizontally, it's referred to as urban sprawl, and it's usually an unrestricted form of growth. However, with the horizontal growth, the population density is a lot lower than the compact city model. So with the compact city, since it expands vertically, population density is much higher due to everything being so compact. Cities run out of land. The compact city model tends to be the better model to refer to between the two, which brings up the question, are compact cities an efficient method for urban planners to use when developing cities? One of the compact cities can be characterized as many things. For starters, usually one of their characteristics is that they consist of a high density of people in a singular area. Another is that it helps combat urban sprawl. Third is that everything is closer, since there's a lot less land usually whenever it's being designed. Fourth characterization is that it helps reduce carbon emissions. Since everything is closer, people tend to walk places more, which reduces the use of personal transportation, and personal transportation is one of the leading forms of carbon emissions. And a fifth is that it encourages mixed use development. So one of the benefits of the compact city is that it does encourage the mixed use of land. So mixed use of land, you're able to make the most out of a limited amount of space. It's also super beneficial for the economy because everybody is walking for the most part in a compact city. And so they'll walk by places and they'll see something in a window and they'll decide, hey, maybe I need that or I want that, and so they'll often walk in and buy it. And residential and commercial spaces are able to be in one zone, so usually, like, whenever growth is horizontal, you'll have like neighborhoods and you'll have commercial districts and everything, whereas with compact city, you can have it in one. For example, this is an apartment complex in Houston, where you see you have apartments up top and then a Whole Foods market down below. And it also can increase tax revenue since the property value is often raised. Another is that they encourage sustainability. They encourage more sustainable forms of transportation, since residents are more likely to walk, cycle, and they often use like rideshare services such as Uber and the public transportation such as city buses. Sustainable use of land, which we just went over with mixed use. It encourages social sustainability, since there's so much more high density in these compact cities. They often have a lot more diversity, and with public parks, people are able to come together and they're able to interact with each other. And it also is more economically stable, since people have easier access to services and jobs, and it promotes a form of economy called sharing economy. They also are able to have healthy environments, since there's only so much land that can be used. They tend to develop and redevelop brownfields and other abandoned areas of land and abandoned infrastructure. They leave aside green spaces. These green spaces are often public parks or other areas where they are just able to have vegetation such as trees and other flowers. It decreases the use of personal transportation, and as I mentioned earlier, it's one of the leading forms of carbon emissions, and so this helps reduce a lot of the carbon that's emitted into the air. And another thing is that cities are enacting green plans to help save their environment. For example, Amsterdam, which is one of the forms of compact city models in Europe, they plan to be emission-free by 2030. These cities also encourage healthy behavior. Since everything is in walking distance, people tend to walk more and jog or cycle, and these often help reduce certain health risks such as obesity, diabetes, and other heart diseases related. Another thing is a lot of stuff in the city has to adapt. Part of the natural environment. Wastewater is able to be broken down through sunlight and algae and bacteria. It helps break it back down into fresher water. This here is the Daphnia magna. It's a form of water fleet. It helps feed on algae and bacteria. That way it prevents some of these lakes and ponds from becoming overrun with algae and bacteria. And rats have adapted. So in New York, they did a study, and a lot of the rats, depending on what neighborhood they were in New York, their skulls have changed, their noses are longer or shorter, just whatever helps them more easily obtain their food. However, one of the cons with these is that with everybody being so close together, disease tends to spread a bit easier. There is a limited space for families, like you can see here. There's a single mother with 3 kids, and she's in this small apartment, which can be kind of hard to raise 3 kids. They don't have a whole lot of exercise outside, since there's not a whole lot of land to roam on. They're tending to get all their exercise within the apartment. And for people who do use personal transportation, there are higher levels of traffic congestion. But with all that being said, there are way more pros than cons. So yes, the compact city model is an efficient method for urban planners to use when developing cities.
Okay. Caden, what information did you need that you weren't able to find or locate?
Some information that I needed that I was not able to find. I did struggle to find a bit more about the environments, like certain creatures in the environment, like a lot of birds. So a lot of things you think about whenever you think about big cities is like pigeons, for example. I wasn't able to find a whole lot about other birds adapting to these environments.
Okay. And what are the implications of the urban building like that for your community?
So my community is more like a horizontal growth. So a lot of it is like downtown. I know in my community they're trying to revamp a lot of stuff downtown to draw people back in, since we're trying to save a lot of farmland outside.